This is a Fox News alert. Brand new details and new sound coming in from former Governor Sarah Palin, who just testified against the guy accused of hacking into her email account 2 years ago and turning her life upside down. The former candidate for vice president of the United States arriving at the courthouse in Tennessee a couple of hours ago inside that SUV with the tinted windows. Palin facing off against a young man accused of hacking into her email account, testifying against 22-year-old David Cornell, a University of Tennessee student, son of a Democratic state lawmaker, now facing up to 50 years behind bars if convicted. Trace Gallagher live at our new West Coast newsroom with more. Hi, Trace.
Hey, Shannon, you know, she was quickly on and off the stand. Palin is now done testifying. We're told, in fact, that she's on a plane with her husband, Todd, headed elsewhere. Those in the courtroom, by the way, say that Sarah Palin was very relaxed. She was smiling throughout. She kind of went over how she found out that her email had been hacked into. She said that she was actually in a hotel room in Michigan, and she learned about it by watching television news when she saw pictures of her family show up. She then called her advisors, and she called the Secret Service. They, in turn, confirmed this. She was walking out, as you see, of the courtroom, and she was talking to reporters. So if she starts talking here, I'm going to stop.
Repeat some of the messages that she was getting about threats about people standing in the driveway waiting to get into the house. Yeah, it made me want to zip back home and help the kids. Yeah. She's doing great. This is doing awesome. She's strong.
Can he be punished without going to prison? Is there some sort of fee?
She was just talking right there about her daughter, Bristol, who, by the way, testified yesterday. We'll get into that in 1 second, Shannon. But back to Sarah Palin. She says that she used the gov.palin Yahoo account, and her red BlackBerry was the main way that she communicated with her family. And she said, because remember, the prosecution says the intent of David Cornell was to disrupt her vice presidential campaign. Sarah Palin said, I'm quoting here, if the intent was to disrupt, it was successful. It caused a huge disruption in the campaign. As she was leaving the courthouse, she was also asked what she'd like to see happen to that man. Here's what she said.
We'll let the jury talk to Mr. Cornell with what their assessment is of the damage that is done when you illegally hack into somebody's personal, private mailbox and disclose the contents to the world. It's not right. It's not legal. It's not fair or decent. So I think he may be receiving that message.
Here's the context, by the way, on Bristol Palin, because you just heard Sarah Palin say there were people in my driveway. Well, remember, when David Cornell hacked into Sarah Palin's account, he put some screen grabs on the Internet, including Bristol Palin's cell phone number. And Bristol Palin testified yesterday that she got hundreds of calls. They were harassing, they were threatening, even a call from a group of boys that said they were outside in front of the house. Bristol Palin, of course, finished testifying. The defense claims this was all a prank, that David Cornell was simply, pulling off a college prank, that he never tried to cover his tracks at all. Again, he could be facing 50 years in prison as the trial in Knoxville, Tennessee continues, Shannon.
Yeah, most college pranks don't get you that much trouble, Trace. Thank you very much. Here's a quick look at the stories we're watching right now. A relaxed Sarah Palin taking the witness stand against the 22-year-old man accused of hacking her personal emails. Palin said what David Cornell did caused a huge disruption to her vice presidential campaign and to her family. She told the AP there should be consequences for bad behavior, but she's going to let the judge and jury decide his punishment. Time to testify. Former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin finding herself in a Tennessee courtroom. What she has to say about the man accused of hacking into her personal emails. Plus, here's a quick look at some of the stories we're watching. Former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin testified today against a 22-year-old man charged with hacking into her email account. Palin said that's the account she used for almost all of the communication with her family while she was out on the campaign trail. And and more from former Governor Sarah Palin talking with reporters after she today testified against a man for allegedly hacking into her personal email account.
Governor, were you afraid?
I think the motivation was disclosed. It was articulated, and we can all Google the comments that were made by Mr. Cornell after he had done this and find his motivation.
His attorney called it a college prank.
I don't think an illegal action like this is a prank, not when you consider that how impacting it was on a presidential election. It went beyond a prank.
Mr. Palin.